Hello everyone, welcome back to Form of Therapy. This is the Culture Study. I'm the channel's video producer and your host. You can call me PD. And today we are checking out 야간비행, aka Turbulence by ATEEZ. ATEEZ is back, although not quite yet, but it's only been a few months since their Deja Vu promotions and they're already back. That's a pretty fast turnaround time, but I assume they've been planning this for a while. Now, they're not quite officially back yet because the album drops on the 10th, which I assume when that album drops, that's going to be kicking off their promotions in earnest. But the album also features a dual title track release. So you have Turbulence, which they've released early prior to the actual album dropping. And so either the day the album actually drops or around that time, I assume they're going to be dropping the music video for their second title track, which is going to actually be a song some of us have already heard before, The Real by ATEEZ from Kingdom. Now, I believe this is going to be a full group version, probably featuring Mingi in earnest, but that's going to be interesting. But we'll talk about that when that music video actually comes out. Now, before we actually get into Turbulence, guys, if you enjoy our content and you'd like to support us, and if you actually want some bonus ATEEZ reactions, you can actually visit our Patreon. As I mentioned, Kingdom, we did check it out in full over on our Patreon. So if you want to check that out, we also finished Treasure Film a few months ago, and we are going to be doing a listening party for this Fever epilogue album in January. Keep that in mind, not this month. And we are going to be checking out Salary Lupin starting in January as well. So if you want to check out our prior ATEEZ reactions and our future ATEEZ reactions, go ahead and join our Patreon. Of course, you don't have to join if you don't want to. You could always just simply like the video. Like the video, share it with the YouTube algorithm, share it with other folks, and it would greatly help us out a lot. All right, guys, thank you for supporting the channel. Let's get into the video. This is Turbulence, aka 야간비행 by ATEEZ, and this is your form of therapy. Little reminiscent of Deja Vu in the sense that it's another sentimental song. A lot of 여성 so far.
목적지를 몰라 헤매다 쓰러져 방향을 찾지 못해 방황의 원더를 날개가 꺾이고 휩쓸려 버려 무서워 지치고 지겨워 내게서 계속 멀어져.
Oh wait, that's Hongjoong? The previous shot of Hongjoong, I thought it was somebody else. Yeah, from the side, I thought it was somebody else. I love how Woo-young sets up that pre-chorus. Or more so, sets up the chorus with his pre-chorus.
끝에 우린 여기서 지금 모습으로 무엇이 돼야 한다면 나는
Ooh, these drums are nice. Ooh, that ending is a little reminiscent of their Treasure era. Wow. Okay. Wow. Okay. There is so much about this that I personally love. I'm actually surprised that they're making this a title track, but given the odd timing of the release, like releasing it before the album, I do feel like maybe The Real is going to be more so the mainstream title track push. And this is kind of like the second title track, the subtitle track. I don't know if subtitle track is even a term, but it is now. So the reason I say that is I think there's something about Deja Vu and Turbulence that we can make a little comparisons, because compared to ATEEZ's larger sound, which, you know, I'm talking like purely title tracks, they are definitely known for their much more powerful, loud, sometimes even festive sound. But with their previous, just the previous comeback, and, you know, maybe the start of the Fever series with Inception, they've gone a little bit more of the emo route, haven't they? But I'm actually really surprised that Turbulence would be a title track, because I think Deja Vu has a little bit more of a mainstream market K-pop sort of appeal to it, whereas Turbulence is an amazing song, but the way it's actually structured, it makes me feel like this is a B-side song. Like, this is the kind of B-side that you wish was the title track. You know, I don't know how quite to describe it, because there's obviously no hard set rules for that. That's all purely feeling based. But I do feel like it doesn't contain your typical K-pop hooks, especially in the chorus, that makes it memorable in the mainstream sense. But yet, because of that, I love it. I love so much about the song. And we'll actually get into that when we do a second watch through with my commentary. But a couple like first impressions that I really love is, one, overall, it's just a very vocal driven song. One might even say it's like a pop ballad almost. I guess as far as ATEEZ goes, this is as ballady as you can really get, while still maintaining and staying rooted in ATEEZ's sound. And it's a song that really largely shows off everybody's vocals. I mean, they just switched off Seonghwa's position to rapper, and then immediately another music video that shows off his vocal abilities, and everyone's vocal abilities, really. I mean, even Mingi did some singing, which I'm always a fan of, like, rappers' kind of unconventional singing styles. I'm always a big fan of that. So thank you for giving us that. One, I am personally a fan because they gave me, I feel like, a lot of interesting parts for, like, for me personally, I really, really like Yuno's voice, and I was surprised to learn that he was the main dancer, because for the longest time, I found his voice to be, as a vocalist, to be so distinct, even within ATEEZ, that it always stood out to me, and I always really liked it. And so I'm glad that they actually gave him some really cool singing parts, because I also really, really liked him. His voice in that collab he did with Pentatonics, I really liked his voice a lot. Also, someone who doesn't get much in terms of line distribution and screen time, Yeosang, I do think that having Yeosang start off the song with, it was Yeosang, Yuno, and was there somebody else? It might have been Seonghwa, maybe. We'll watch it again. But having him start off, and then that little back and forth that they had, Yeosang doesn't get quite as many lines as the other members, and I'm curious as to why that is. Whether it's just an unfair line distribution thing, or if it's one of those cases where, kind of like One Us, where one of the members is not as comfortable having as many lines. But because they put him at the forefront, I do feel like, even though he doesn't have as many lines, even in this song, because he at least kicks off the song, he definitely has a much more memorable impact to the song. I think a problem I have with Yeosang's distribution is it's really not a problem having little line distribution, and it's always going to be a problem when you have a lot of members in a group, and it's something that we can accept. I think anybody can really accept if they are given substantial memorable positions. And the problem is they give Yeosang these lines in the verses here and there, and I feel like what you can do with members who don't get as much distinct line distribution is, I mean, maybe at least choreo-wise, they're at the forefront of it, or they get the killing part. I think examples for that would be like 17. While in their title tracks, Jun and the 8 don't necessarily get too many lines, although, you know, that was very different with their recent comeback. But in general, when they didn't get too many lines, they got the lead in the choreography a lot, and they were featured a lot. Or with Everglow, Iron is a good example. Iron doesn't get too many line distributions, but Iron is insanely memorable because they always give her the killing parts. And so giving Yeosang, I don't know if this song necessarily has a killing part, but giving Yeosang at least the position of starting and kicking off the song, I think really, really like seals his impact on the song. So I really like that. So if you can't give a person too many lines, or they don't want too many lines, or whatever the case is, I think always having them in a position that's important and memorable, I think is always a big win. So I like that personally. Would like to know your guys' thoughts. I know that Yeosang's lines have been a topic of issue amongst ATEEZ fans, at least in my comments from what I've seen. So I'd love to know people's thoughts on that. But also, what I like about the music video is it's beautiful, it's cinematic, it plays off more like a very dark indie short film, almost like you could put it into the aesthetic of like a kind of like a 80s noir-esque sort of vibe to it. I've seen a couple movies that have like this sort of vibe. It leans towards a much more cinematic film realm, even though they have like a lot of lights, like where you would consider it to be very music video lighting. They try to at least give it intention. Like, hold on, I'll get into that part when we're actually watching the music video. I need to obviously show examples, but also the music video is rather simple. You know, this is not what you would expect from a title track music video, right? But I have two kind of theories about that. One, I do think that they're going to push the reel a lot more. I think because this song is a little bit more of a ballad, and ballads perform well in Korea, but I don't know if that would be the case for idol groups. But I feel like they gave this kind of not as big and splashy of a budget that you would ordinarily do for a title track. I mean, compare something like Fireworks to this, right? But also, it aesthetically doesn't really fit this song, although there are ways you can make a ballad song feel bigger and look crazier and bigger and have it still aesthetically fit. But I do think they probably just put more into their the Real music video, because also the Real is a very fun, exciting song, and it's also a very Korean song in the sense that like it's also, I don't know if they're going to keep that, but at least from what we saw in Kingdom, it was very much rooted in just like the essence of Korea, like itself, not just like, oh, this sounds like a Korean song. No, it was like about Korea, and it was very much tied to that. And so I wonder if they're putting more of their budget into that because that's more of a pop track, and because this is more of a sentimental song, they scaled it back. But I also like that they scaled it back because it's a very minimal music video, but I think because it's minimal, it sells the emotion. It gives it a very empty, sort of hollow feeling. But also, when there are like these crazy moments in the video, which there are, it really gives the video a lot more weight and impact to those moments because all the other moments were much more simpler and quieter. So let's get into it again, and let's talk about the music video and the song further. It was Hongwon, okay.
바람에 다친 마음에
세상은 내게 추락만을 택하라는 듯 끝없는 어둠만 이 끝에 우린 어디로 어떤 모습으로 무엇이 되야만 하나 단지 난 겨우 나이기도 벅찬 나인데 듣고 있나요 누군가 그저 안아줄 수도 없나 우린 어디로 어떤 모습으로 무엇이 되야만 하나.
All right, so this is a very good example of what I was talking about motivated lighting. So let's start off with Chung over here. This, it very much has that kind of like 80s neon aesthetic, the cool blues and the cool reds / magentas. But what this looks like is the blue on his face, and it very well could be natural lighting. It looks like kind of like the lighting of the moon, or just the natural light of the sky. I don't know how dark it is where Chong was shooting, but this could be like, you know, that twilight moment in time where it's like right before it's pitch black dark and there's no sun, but it's like that weird but it's still light out. It could be that, and then they color graded it to be blue. And then this lighting is motivated by making it look like, it's a neon sign, or it's a neon light from one of the buildings and stuff like that. Even having this red in the background right there gives it that motivation. Okay, this is exactly what I was talking. Yeah, so this is that weird, it looks like a weird twilight sort of hour. Definitely made to look darker by the color grading though. Yeah. Okay. And then the next would another good example would be this scene right here with San, which the background lighting, obviously it's fake. And you know what I mean by fake, right? Like, it's obviously not real. It's not the sun. This isn't natural lighting. But the way the lighting is shining in like that, first of all, one, it makes him look super heavenly and angelic. I love it. I dig it. But also, it looks, the way it's also lit too, it looks kind of like light is peeking through the darkness. There may be some implications with the lyrics for that, but also just in general, it kind of looks like when a street lamp is like that kind of like dark, sickly yellow color of the street lamp is shining on you. It kind of looks like that. And none of the lighting looks super crazy K-pop. It's definitely a lot more cinematic.
I wanna be where you at, fix on. 목적지를 몰라 헤매다 쓰러져 방향을 찾지 못해 방황의 원더를 날개가 꺾이고 입술려버려 무서워 지치고 지겨워 내게서 계속 멀어져
높은 곳에서 내려다본 세상은 두렵게 날
좁툰이라 물음표에서 정답을 찾는 여행
떨어지는 waterfall 끝이 없는 freefall
거친 바람에 다친 마음에
세상은 내게 고기만을 택하라는 듯 끝없는
Something I think is a really good example is of what I was talking about earlier, about a member who does not have many lines in a song. Something that I guess I don't realize often is Wooyoung doesn't have the craziest amount of lines. I mean, comparatively to Yeosang, he might have more, but I think relative to other members in the group, Wooyoung is also, I think, on the lower end. But I don't think that often, because Wooyoung, he's always given either killing parts, he's at the forefront of the choreography, or, you know, what little parts he has, they're insanely memorable. Like this part right here, the way he's setting up the chorus at the tail end of this pre-chorus, the na 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 na, even the way he's like pronunciate. I was thinking of pronouncing and enunciating at the same time, and it came out as pronunciating. But the way he's enunciating his words right here are extremely unique too.
세상은 내게 고기만을 택하라는 듯 끝없는 어둠만 이 끝에 우린 어디로 어떤 모습으로 무엇이 되야만 하나 단지 난 겨우 나이기도 벅찬 나인데 듣고 있나요 누군가 그저
So Another example here would be this shot of San in the elevator. They probably have, I mean, I'm sure this elevator has lighting, but I doubt it would be bright enough to capture it on camera enough. So I'm sure they tossed in a video light above, but again, the lighting is motivated to make it look like, oh, it's a part of the elevator, rather than making it look like, yeah, it's a video light. So here is one of the few moments where I was talking about why the music video being very minimalistic works for this music video. Is nothing up until this point, and this is the bridge, right? So this bridge, a bridge often in a song is also the turning point, and also often in a song, the forgettable part of the song. But here, they visually make the bridge the turning point, where all of a sudden stuff is flying around, obviously visualizing also turbulence, you know, like turbulence on a plane, like things would go in disarray. And this is a good representation of that. And it just looks very kind of jaw-dropping and very, I don't know, magical almost. Oh, that's really well done. Okay, so the color scheme of this music video is also largely tied to mainly only 3 colors, I would say. Blue, red, and white. And the white is very, very minimal. It's here and there, but the white is definitely there, but it's largely blue and red. And so this part is really well done. One, they're, again, trying to give the lighting motivation. So he's being lit red on this side, blue on this side. Obviously, the opposing colors complement one another. But then the neon sign in the background, that's white. And so it gives you this subconscious idea that, like, it's purely an immersion thing. Like, it doesn't make you think, oh, it's a video light. It's a video light. It makes you think, oh, he's somewhere where there's a bunch of neon lights and there's a red neon light in front of him and a blue neon light in front of him. Now, obviously, if you think about that closely, obviously these are actual video lights shining on him to make him look cool. But because they put the take-off neon light in the background, it's subconsciously making you think that these lights are motivated, even though they're not. But then this shot of Woo Young right here, this is perfect. It also gives you a red lighting, but then now it seems not as unnatural because there are themes in this music video. There's the paper plane. The song title is Turbulence. It had the word take off. And then now you have the runway effect of like all the lights turning on, and then it's lighting Woo Young's face. Obviously, this is also a video light. It's not the actual lights lighting up. One, if they were actual runway lights, they would not be bright enough to motivate to light his face like that. And also, it would be lighting his face gradually like this, not just like one light turning on like that. But putting that all together, when you put it all together, everything in this music video like ties together perfectly. Like if you just watch one thing, it might not as much, especially like that Chongho scene. But because that they've set like a perfect mood for the music video, that's why it looks so good. And all the lighting seems natural. Oh my god. And that. God, that scene is just so magical, so magical. And what I was talking about before, in that scene with San, with the light shining on him, you know, he was in a dark scene. Perhaps it is definitely motivated by the story, by the lyrics. you had the lights in Wooyoung sequence, the lights coming on. I think at one point in the lyrics, I forget who it was. Someone said like, I can see the light. It might have been Chongwoo maybe who said that. And then you have Hongjung right there, seeing all the lights turning on. And then now in this scene where it was largely dark, and now it's like morning, right?
무엇이 돼야 한다면 나는 내가 되기를 바래 너도 갓길을 듣고 있는 너의 가슴에 새긴 노래 우린 여기서 지금 모습으로 그걸 올려도 괜찮아 날 밤시린 마음 거친 싸움 지친 날 따스한 온기로 안아줘 날 밤시린 바람 거친 파도 지친 날
even just like that chorus at the end, the whoa it feels like almost like this song is a summation of their journey so thus far. Obviously it's part of the Fever era, but parts of this song also felt inspired by their Treasure era, especially some of the top line stuff. But the song is also very, just like the lyrics and the message of the song is really good. I mean, it's not as, descriptive of a word, I think, that properly conveys how good it is, but it's good. The song is called Turbulence, and the turbulence is describing kind of like the turbulence of your life and the life that you live, or the life that you're currently living in, surrounded by all the noise or whatever it is you're going through. Like, it's a song that's also just vague enough that I think anyone can relate to this, anyone who's going through any sort of hardship in their life. It's a very depressing song, and Sad Girl Autumn is definitely here, and it's affecting everyone. I mean, you had SF9 recently, now you have ATEEZ with Turbulence, just people singing about a lot of sad shit. And yet, what I do like about Turbulence is, as kind of dark as it is and as sad as it is, it's a song that's also saying that it's okay. And it's a song where, I mean, the song also, I think, in its melody and in the ending sequence really portrays, it's a song of hope as well. It's a song that at the end of all this turbulence, or that in all this turbulence, there is a light, there is a path out. It doesn't necessarily say it outright, and it's not necessarily portrayed in the music video outright, but more so like this song doesn't have a happy ending. It's more so saying like there's a way out, and it's a song of perseverance and kind of navigating the turbulence that is your life. And I think it's a very beautiful song that a lot of people can relate to. 10 out of 10 for me, personally. I think something that I didn't realize from ATEEZ is I want more emo songs from them. I really liked Deja Vu, but I love Turbulence. And I also loved Inception as well. And while those songs were definitely a change up for their title tracks, especially everything they'd done so far, but as much as I do love ATEEZ's exciting, powerful pop tracks, dance tracks, and I'm sure The Real is going to be awesome, but Turbulence feels special. I personally always am a big fan of just that sad pop, emo pop, whatever you want to call it. And, Turbulence absolutely nails it. And I feel like Chongwoo's vocals, especially that, like that high note that he hits at the end, really feels like a breath of fresh air. It feels like a weight being lifted off your shoulders. It feels like you're ascending. I mean, literally, that shot of you have Wooyoung running through the air like he's flying at a certain point, and this final shot of Chongwoo right here on the rooftop, it feels like you're going to ascend, and this song is very cool that way. It feels very inspirational. But That's a 10 out of 10 for me. I love it. And I can't wait to see what they have in store for us with the reel. If this is just the it's not a pre-release track. It's not a pre-release music video. It's very much labeled the title track. But if this is what they released before the album drop, I can't wait to see what they're going to release with the album drop. But guys, that's Turbulence by ATEEZ. Thanks for tuning into my reaction and review. Let me know, what did you guys think? How does Turbulence stack up to just ATEEZ's discography as a whole in general? But how does it stack up to their specifically emo pop title tracks like Deja Vu and Inception? Would love to know your thoughts. I think of the three, I don't know, Inception has a very special place in my heart, but I think Turbulence is definitely the most powerful of them all in terms of like emotion and what it conveys and how it moves me, and how it moves me. Like, Turbulence is the best at that. But guys, would love to know your thoughts in the comments below. Once again, if you'd like to support the channel, check out our bonus content. You can visit our Patreon. Of course, you don't have to support us monetarily if you don't want to. You could always just hit the like button down below. You can check out our other content over here. And be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell. If you want to check out our reaction for the reel when it comes out, make sure to hit the notification bell. But guys, thank you for checking out our video. Hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.